Nike, undoubtedly one of the most massive sportswear giants on the planet, just locked in Filipino tennis prodigy Alex Eala on an unbelievable 3-year deal worth a jaw-dropping $45 million. You heard that absolutely correctly. That is $45 million for a phenomenal rising star who is currently taking the entire tennis world by storm. But the story gets incredibly fascinating and honestly quite dramatic from here. While Nike is busy rolling out the lavish red carpet for Eala, they are simultaneously giving the absolute cold shoulder to a longtime partner. This snub is directed at someone who has stood by them for years, the current world #1 player, Aryna Sabalenka. Nike executives have been monitoring Alex Eala incredibly closely, and her stellar performance has thoroughly convinced them that she represents the undisputed future of tennis, particularly within the massive Asian market. Incredible reports are pouring in, showing that thousands of passionate fans are literally flooding the streets just to catch a fleeting glimpse of Eala dominating the court. The sheer excitement surrounding her rising career is absolutely electric, which meant Nike knew they had to act incredibly fast. Why the sudden rush, you might ask? Because they were certainly not the only major players interested in her. Heavyweight competitors like New Balance and Adidas were also aggressively pursuing Eala, and Nike desperately wanted to avoid a disastrous repeat of what happened when they lost Coco Gauff to New Balance. That historic loss dealt a massive and humiliating blow to the brand, and their executives have been practically kicking themselves ever since that day. Gauff has rapidly become one of the most incredibly marketable athletes in all of tennis, and Nike foolishly let her slip right through their fingertips, so they were fiercely determined not to make that exact same mistake twice. Therefore, the moment they spotted this golden opportunity with Eala, they jumped on it with zero hesitation. Honestly, no one can really blame them, because the incredible buzz surrounding Eala right now is absolutely undeniable. Although the official contract specifics remain unconfirmed by both Nike and Eala internally, multiple reliable sources report the deal guarantees $45 million over 3 years, loaded with lucrative add-ons that could skyrocket its total value. But here is the ultimate kicker to this wild story. Eala is not just receiving a standard endorsement deal, but rather she is being strategically positioned as the ultimate face of Nike across Southeast Asia, which is an incredibly monumental deal. Nike is essentially declaring that Eala will serve as their premier ambassador for an entire global region, betting heavily on her massive star power to exponentially drive sales and brand recognition throughout Southeast Asia. Take a moment to truly think about the magnitude of what that means. Nike is pouring unprecedented investments into the future of Eala, handing her not just millions of dollars, but a colossal platform and a leadership role that carries immense responsibility and global visibility. They are absolutely treating her like a generational superstar, showering her with the elite level of treatment normally reserved exclusively for the top-tier legends on their historical roster. She is receiving stunning custom outfits alongside massive promotional campaigns. She also gets all the glorious perks that accompany the title of a signature Nike athlete. But now we must address the giant elephant in the room. That elephant is Aryna Sabalenka, because while Eala is currently being showered with this massive contract and endless media attention, Sabalenka has been ruthlessly left out in the freezing cold. The shocking contrast between these two situations simply could not be more stark, considering that for years Sabalenka has practically begged Nike for well-deserved improvements to her existing contract. She has been incredibly vocal about demanding the sheer recognition that rightfully matches her prestigious status as one of the absolute best tennis players in the entire world. Right before this current season kicked off, Sabalenka specifically and publicly addressed the glaring issue of her sponsorship neglect. She explicitly expressed her desire for a completely unique outfit that truly befits her reigning position as the undisputed #1 player on the planet. She strongly and rightfully felt that she had more than earned that elite level of personalized treatment from a brand like Nike.
Yeah, unfortunately, next season it's not gonna be that special for me, but exactly.
But what was the official response from Nike when she asked for more respect? They essentially told her no, and bluntly declared that they were entirely unwilling to give Sabalenka the prominent status she was so desperately requesting. Just take a deep breath and truly let that harsh reality sink in for a moment. Sabalenka, who is a multiple Grand Slam champion and the reigning world number one, was flatly told by Nike executives that she simply was not worth the financial investment required to design a unique outfit. Meanwhile, the very second they witnessed Eala rapidly rising in popularity and saw the massive excitement she was generating, Nike executives acted immediately and practically threw a massive deal at her. The underlying message here is pretty crystal clear, especially coming from frustrated tennis fans once again after Aryna Sabalenka publicly stated that she would absolutely not be receiving any star treatment at the major slams next year.
From tennis fans once again after Aryna Sabalenka said that she would not be getting any star treatment at the slams next year. I'll discuss whether Aryna is truly being snubbed by the swoosh brand.
Sabalenka has been a loyal partner with Nike for many years. She has captured major championship titles, and she has firmly cemented herself at the absolute top of the global rankings. Despite all of her phenomenal achievements, Nike stubbornly refused to budge even an inch on giving her exactly what she rightfully demanded. Yet a much younger player like Eala, who undeniably possesses incredible raw potential but has not even come close to reaching Sabalenka's immense level of professional achievement, effortlessly bags a $45 million contract and is crowned the undisputed face of Nike across an entire region. The blatant level of disrespect directed towards Sabalenka is absolutely shocking. But to be fair, she has found herself caught up in the media headlines multiple times just during this season alone.
In the headlines this season alone multiple times, first for smashing her racket following her Australian Open loss to Madison Keys, and then of course that infamous Roland Garros press conference situation where she downplayed Coco Gauff's success, and she faced a lot of criticism for that.
But hold on a second, because there is actually a lot more depth to this wild story. And it truly gets even messier from here. The professional relationship existing between Nike and Sabalenka has reportedly been rapidly deteriorating behind the scenes for quite a while now, and a string of recent unfortunate events have only made things significantly worse. Sabalenka herself has painfully confirmed that the famous sportswear giant will absolutely no longer be creating any custom-made dresses tailored specifically for her matches. She has even heavily hinted that she has been desperately reaching out to Nike executives through private direct messages, trying to convince them to keep providing her with those iconic signature outfits that she has been relentlessly requesting. However, judging strictly from all the current indications, things are definitely moving incredibly fast. They are moving incredibly fast in the absolute wrong direction, and it seems highly likely that their long-standing partnership might not even survive through the rest of this current calendar year. So we have to ask, what exactly went so terribly wrong? Well, there are actually several critical factors currently at play here, starting primarily with Sabalenka's incredibly high-profile and shocking loss to Madison Keys at the United States Open. That was an undeniably tough pill to swallow for her, and it certainly seems like Nike executives were less than thrilled about how that entire disastrous scenario played out on the world stage. But perhaps even more significantly, there were Sabalenka's highly controversial and polarizing comments regarding Coco Gauff right after Gauff secured her emotional victory at Roland Garros. Those particular comments created quite a massive and negative stir within the international tennis community, and Nike, a massive corporation which values its pristine public image incredibly highly, was entirely unhappy about being closely associated with that specific brand of toxic controversy. Consequently, Nike has been increasingly and visibly distancing its corporate identity from Sabalenka, both during her matches on the court and in her personal life off the court. The massive brand is reportedly refusing to publicly defend her erratic behavior. And as these highly problematic issues just continually pile up, it is rapidly becoming abundantly clear to everyone watching that Nike is making a cold and calculated business decision to entirely separate themselves from Sabalenka's brand. They are fiercely protecting their billion-dollar brand image and their pristine reputation within the prestigious world of sports. even if achieving that strictly means ruthlessly cutting ties with a top-ranked elite player. But the dramatic saga absolutely does not stop right there, as Nike apparently issued a strict warning to Sabalenka regarding her questionable actions and poor behavior. Yet things seemingly did not improve whatsoever. During the high-stakes Women's Tennis Association finals, Sabalenka was awkwardly caught on live camera making bitter complaints, and there are even shocking reports circulating that she was hurling racial abuse at Elena Rybakina immediately after suffering a crushing loss in the final match. Now, I really want to make absolutely sure that I am being completely clear right here about these claims. These are incredibly serious and damaging allegations, and if they turn out to be entirely true, they represent an unbelievably massive problem for everyone involved. Nike, who was already significantly displeased with various deteriorating aspects of their partnership with Sabalenka, was reportedly deeply disturbed by the way she treated her professional opponents throughout the entire tournament. These ongoing behavioral issues seem to have finally pushed the fragile relationship between Nike and Sabalenka far beyond any point of possible repair. When you combine the recurring on-court frustrations, the highly controversial public comments, and the alleged mistreatment of fellow players, it paints a very clear picture of why Nike would be looking to move on. And with the official signing of Alex Eala, it truly feels like Nike has made a definitive choice regarding exactly where they want to invest their massive resources moving forward. The specific timing of this entire situation is particularly brutal for Sabalenka when you really stop and think about it. Just try to imagine being in her shoes for a second. You are the undisputed world number one. You have successfully conquered multiple Grand Slams. You have been pleading with your primary sponsor for years to finally grant you the recognition and respect you feel you have rightfully earned. And they just keep telling you, no. Then, seemingly overnight, they turn around and hand a massive $45 million contract to a much younger player who, while undeniably talented, has not yet achieved a fraction of what you have. That has absolutely got to sting her pride. But from Nike's cold corporate perspective, they are clearly making a strategic business decision based on a wide variety of factors. Yes, it is true that Eala possesses tremendous future potential and is currently generating an incredible level of excitement, especially in the specific emerging markets that Nike wants to dominate. But this situation is also about so much more than just raw tennis ability alone. It is about overall marketability, professional behavior, public image, and determining exactly who can best represent the legendary brand moving into the future. And, as of right now, Nike has clearly decided that Eala represents a far better long-term investment than Sabalenka. The underlying message being sent to Sabalenka is quite unmistakable. Nike has officially moved on. They have found their shiny new star, and they are going all in on her success. With this massive new contract for Eala, it seems extremely unlikely that Sabalenka will ever be offered anything even remotely close to what she was originally hoping for. In fact, it looks like the game might be completely over for her professional relationship with the Nike brand. So, what exactly is the next step for Sabalenka's career? Well, she is going to need to secure a brand new sponsor very quickly if things continue to spiral downward with Nike. There are certainly other athletic brands out there, but losing a prestigious partnership with Nike is a massive blow both in terms of financial gain and global prestige. As for Eala, this represents an absolutely life-changing and incredible opportunity for her. She now has the full backing of one of the world's most powerful brands, and now it is entirely up to her to deliver on that massive potential and prove that Nike made the right choice. This entire situation is absolutely wild and dramatic. It is going to be absolutely fascinating to witness how this all plays out over the coming months on the global stage. Make sure you drop your personal thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think Nike made the right business call? Or is Sabalenka being treated unfairly despite her achievements? Or perhaps her behavior truly did contribute to this fallout?